Let's turn to some of the other major news of the day with National Senator Matt Canavan and Perth Mayor Basil Zempilas. Welcome to you both. Look, this is
Sharri.
Quite an outrageous cover-up. So just late this afternoon, Defence Minister Richard Marles revealed to my colleague Kieran Gilbert that a Chinese fighter jet had released flares within 30 metres of an Australian military aircraft as it carried out a routine patrol over the South China Sea. Now, Matt, this took place at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, but they didn't make it public until after question time today. This is the last sitting day before the federal election. So, Matt Canavan, this is obviously a deliberate tactic to avoid answering questions in Parliament.
Well, it looks that way, doesn't it, Sharri? It's a bit hard to add it up otherwise. You would think something of this grave nature would be announced by the Prime Minister while he was here in Canberra. To me, it's just simply another symptom of the weakness of this government. They seem to shy away from controversy rather than respond to it. Obviously, an incident of this nature is extremely serious and concerning for Australians. It would appear on the face of it to be an outright act of aggression from Chinese military forces. But it needs a response from our leader and our Prime Minister to show that we're united in our response and that we won't be intimidated. But instead, when things like this seem to happen, the Prime Minister too often runs and hides rather than confront the issue head on. And I think his leadership, his style of leadership, the lack of strength in his leadership will be a major issue at that election, even though we're not going to have that parliamentary scrutiny you said. His response on issues like this will be under the microscope at the next federal election.
Absolutely. It's just further weakness. I mean, he's too weak in the face of China, Basil, and we know Albanese has been cozying up to Chinese President Xi Jinping. This is just the latest hostile example of China's ongoing pattern of aggressive behaviour. And just like last time, the PM didn't want questions on it.
No, I think the Australian public deserve to have some answers around this, and ideally those answers come with Parliament being fully able to challenge the Prime Minister and the Defence Minister to get those answers. And the first thing members of the general public are entitled to ask is, well, was our aircraft in their airspace or not? I mean, we should know that. That's a fundamental. If we were in their airspace, why were we in their airspace? And was the reaction from the Chinese military over the top or fair enough in the circumstances? So without answering any questions and by delaying the announcement until after Parliament has risen, then it only raises further questions in the minds of everyday Australians. And they deserve to have the respect and courtesy of some answers around what's taken place here. Because at the end of it all, if it becomes hostile, we know who pays the price. So let us know, Prime Minister. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, and also the ADF, they would want to know, the thousands of people who serve in the ADF, that the Prime Minister has their back. Andrew Hastie released quite a good statement on this, and he said Richard Marles must explain why he has conveniently released this information at the end of a parliamentary sitting week, despite knowing about the incident for days, avoiding serious questions about national security matters. So this is going to be a big issue, the cover-up in the coming days.